This is level I, and we're looking at list 4 and we're doing our day 1 page. So you need a highlighter, and we're going to highlight the Y on the end of all of these words, because Y on the end of all of these words is saying E. And this is the most common way we write the E sound on the end of a word. So we've got baby, lady, lazy, hazy, crazy, tidy, tiny, pony, daisy, brainy. Okay, now here we've also got abe, we've got a long A sound there. Lady, we've got a long A sound. Lazy, we've got a long A sound. Hazy, we've got a long A sound. Crazy, we've got a long A sound. Tidy is a long I sound. Tiny, a long I sound. Pony is a long O sound. AI makes a long sound, and AI makes a long A sound, as in brainy. So if you look at those words, you can also see that after the long vowel sound, we only have one consonant. So you can highlight those as well. Now the interesting thing to note here too is we're actually using the Z for the Z sound. Lazy, hazy, crazy. Quite often we use an S for the Z sound in words, but here we're actually using the Z. And another thing that you need to remember with this too is that sometimes when children or anyone sees a word ending in EY, they think that's commonly how we write the E sound at the end of a word. But Y is the most common way of writing an E sound on the end of a word. It can say that long E sound. So let's have a look at what these words mean. A baby is a young child. A lady is a woman. Lazy is maybe someone who's a couch potato who sits and watches TV all day or doesn't do a lot of work. Hazy is when there's a lot of cloud or mist around and you can't see as well as you might on a nice sunny clear day. Crazy means someone's a bit silly. Tidy is when everything is where it's meant to be and it all looks nice and orderly. Tiny is something very, very small, and you might have to look through a microscope to see it. A pony is a small horse. A daisy is, they could be some flowers, and brainy means someone who uses their brain a lot and they're very clever, usually quite intelligent. Okay, let's read the words, sound the words, spell the words and write them. So we've got baby, but A, but E, but A, but E, but A, but E, B-A-B-Y, B-A-B-Y, B-A-B-Y. Cover it and write it 3 times. Now that's a process that you've got to go through. You can finish all of those by reading them, sounding them 3 times, spelling them 3 times, writing them 3 times, and then. This is level I, list 4, and we're doing the day 2. So our words are baby, lady, lazy, hazy, crazy, tidy, tiny, pony, daisy, brainy. And we're using a Y for the E sound at the end of a word. Sometimes you might see a word ending in EY, but there are only about 10 words that we commonly use that end in EY. If you're not sure if it's EY or Y, go for Y, because there are thousands of words that end in Y where it says E at the end of a word. And remember, there's only about 10, like money, honey, monkey, donkey, that end in EY, and some of them are not very common. So let's have a look at these words. We've got baby. We've got some long vowel sounds here. So we've got baby, lazy, hazy, crazy, tidy. These are all making their long vowel sounds. And you know, after a long vowel sound, we have one consonant. So we could colour that one consonant in 2. Interestingly, quite often we use an S for the Z sound in words, but here we're actually using the Z for the Z sound in these 3 words. So always we've got one consonant after a long vowel sound in a multi-syllabic word. So now let's have a look at what these words mean. We talked about them yesterday, but we'll just have another quick look at them. A baby is a young person. A lady is a female. It's the opposite to a gentleman. So you've got that one down there. Lazy means that you've not got a lot of energy, you're not doing a lot of things. So you might be a couch potato. You're not working hard. Hazy means that something's hard to see. So it could be the view from the mountain was hazy due to the bushfires. So the smoke from the bushfires would make it very difficult to see. So we'd say that it was hazy. You could also say Grandpa has hazy memories of his youth, which means that he doesn't really remember a lot from when he was younger. It's a little bit hazy, a little bit hard to remember. Crazy just means when you're, perhaps if you've had too much sugar, I can be crazy if I have too much sugar, then it makes you go a little bit wild. So crazy means out of control, probably is a good way of putting it. Tidy is when we have everything organised and it all looks neat, and that's how we want our classroom to look. The opposite to tidy would be messy, of course. Tiny is something that's small, and so the opposite to tiny would be large. A pony is a small horse. It will never grow as high as a normal horse. It will always remain a bit smaller. A daisy is a type of flower. And brainy is when you're very, very clever. So the professor is a very clever person. We could put that one there. Okay, you can fill in, we'll do the read, sound and write the words, and you can fill in all of those sections down the bottom. So baby, B-A-B-E, B-A-B-Y. So you can hear, you must sound these words, and then you have to spell them as well, because we've got to link letters to these sounds that we're making in these words, because now you're learning that there are different ways to spell these sounds. So we've got to identify which letters we're using in these words. So tidy would be T-I-D-E, T-I-D-Y, and write it. Okay, here you're just filling in what these words mean, labelling the pictures, filling in the missing word in these sentences, and the opposites down here. So you just have to think carefully about those. Level I, list 4, day 3, and we're looking at the Y at the end of these words making its long E sound. So we've got baby, lady, lazy, hazy, crazy, tidy, tiny, pony, daisy, brainy. You can colour all those Y's in one colour. Then I want you to get another colour, and we're going to make the long vowel sound in the first part of these words a different colour. So we've got A, I, O, AI. So we've got a long vowel sound in the first part of all of those words. Then we have one consonant after the long vowel sound. So let's make that a different colour. Just so you remember, you're never doubling that letter. It's always a single consonant after a long vowel sound in a multi-syllabic word. So let's have a look at what we're going to do with these words. Now here, when we've got a word ending with a Y, you have to change quite often the Y to an I before you add on to it. So just be very careful with that. You can see we've done that in all of those. So it might be worthwhile getting a different colour again, and let's mark that Y to an I here so you remember to do it. Because when you take these back to their base words, you're going to have to change it back to the Y. So it'll be tidiness, tidy, laziness, lazy, ponies, pony, lady, brainy, crazy. So common word pairs would be lazy bones, something up, tidy up, something sit, babysit, a ladybird, a daisy chain, that's where you make a chain out of daisies, and a pony ride. Down here we've got plurals, and there's a little rule alert over here. If there is a consonant before the Y, we change the Y to an I and add ES. So don't forget that when you're doing this here. You're going to change that Y to an I for each of these plurals, and then you're going to add the ES. Verb families, we're going to have tidy, tidies, tidying, tidied. So once again, don't forget here, because you're changing the Y to an I, then you have to add the ES. But when you're adding the ing, you don't change the Y, because you can never ever have double I in an English word. So you're going to leave the Y in when you add the ing. So be very careful. In your comparatives and superlatives, comparatives just mean more of something. So you wouldn't say my room is more tidy than yours, you'd say my room is tidier than yours. And most means we use most for a superlative. It means the most of a bigger group of things. So we wouldn't say my room is the most tidy, we would say my room is the tidiest, and there we would add the EST. So be very careful in these ones, because you're adding to a word that ends with a Y and there's a consonant before that Y, you have to change the Y to an I before you add on those endings. So let's just do one of these before we finish. We're going to read it, sound it, spell it, and then write it, and then you can finish the rest. So we've got baby, B-A, B-E, B-A, B-Y, cover it and write it. Okay, you can finish that whole page. This is level I, list 4, and we're doing the day 4. Here we're looking at nouns, verbs, adjectives and adverbs. So a noun is a name of people, places and things. A verb refers to doing and being and having words. Adjectives describe a noun or a pronoun, and an adverb gives more information about a verb. So let's sort these words into the correct word type. So whenever you see a noun, remember it's the name of a person, of people, places and things. So I'm going to make all of those ones pink. So there's a table, that's a thing, so that's a noun. So you can go through and highlight all of them. You've got to find 4 nouns because there's 4 spaces. There's a good hint for you. Okay, the next one we're going to use orange for the verb. So we're going to go through and look for anything, it's something we can do. So can we jump? Yes, we can jump. So I'm going to make jump orange, and once again you've got to find 4 verbs. So 3 more for you to find. Adjectives describe a noun. So we're going to make them red. So we might say the sun is bright. So bright is describing the noun. So we make those words red. And the adverbs describe how we do things. So we might say, and we'll make those blue. So you might say, oh, we run quickly. So we'll make all of the adverbs blue. So quite often you'll find adverbs end in ly, quite often. So that gives you a bit of a hint to finish those off. Once you've coloured them all, it makes it easy to write them in, because you know you're going to write all the adverbs down here, all the blue words. All the adjectives will be written down here. They're all the red words. All the orange words are verbs. So we'll write those all down here. And then all the nouns are going to be all your pink words. So just copying them in. So we've got a noun. What was our noun table? Our verb was the orange ones, jump. You can finish the rest of those, they're quite easy to do. Now you're going to use the nouns from up here to form compound words. to finish these sentences. We built a something house in our backyard. We built a tree house in our backyard. So all those words are coming from up here. And if it says use the nouns, well, you actually know they're going to come from this little set of words here. This one is change these adjectives, so these would be the words here, to adverbs by adding ly. So we know that most adverbs end in ly. So where are we up to? Slow, if we add the ly to it, we might say the snail moves slowly. So that's how we're forming the adverb, by adding ly to the end of these adjectives. So down here we're going to change these verbs into nouns by adding er. So eat will become eater, run will become runner, jump will become jumper, build will become builder. So you can finish that page on your own.